Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Justin Mwaka. Today, I'm going to show you a video made by the wonderful, great young African vlogger, Woda Maya. He's doing amazing things if you haven't seen his videos. He's made over 1,000 videos. So right this moment, in this video particular, he's interviewing the one and only Hajji Yasin Bakaluba, a security guard that has lived in London for 19 years and returned to Uganda to build himself quite a number of properties and engage in businesses. Anyway, take a look at the clip. I'll just make a short clip of, and the original, I'll add it up if you want to see that. But I want to talk about kind of like the core message. All right, we'll see you at the other side.
My name is Hajji Yasin Bakaluba, based here in Uganda. I'm a guy who worked as a security guard in the UK for 19 years. And then I was like, hey, I've had enough. I need to go back where I belong. This is Africa, this is Uganda, where my love is, my motherland. I came in back here, realized that there was a problem in construction. There were many Ugandans working in diaspora, and they wanted to construct. They wanted to do something back home, but they were afraid. They couldn't do it. Many people were eating their money. Aha. And I thought to myself, this must be an opportunity. That was a problem. And I said to myself, listen, if you want to make it in life, look for a problem. And when you see the problem, just come up with a solution. For the last 2 years since I opened up my company, I've constructed over 200 structures for people I've never met. They only see me on social media. This is my story, and I've made it. You can make it. Africa is wonderful.
I can't believe that I'm meeting you. Because everyone is saying, Maya, if you need a real Ugandan story, a real Ugandan diaspora story, I have to meet you.
You need to meet Hajji Bakaluba. He's the guy with the story. I'm glad.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too, my brother.
The way people are telling me to meet you, which means your whole story will inspire the entire diaspora to return back to the motherland. How long have you been back?
I've been here for 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
And you built a mall in 2 years?
Yeah, I've built a mall. I've built 10 other apartments as well. That's for myself. And before that, I had 35 apartments. And that was before I left London.
No. You did all this in 2 years?
In 2 years. In 2 years.
Were you born in Uganda?
Yes, I was. I was born here. I left Uganda when I was 19. And I stayed in the UK for another 19. So my life has been 50-50. But my heart remained in Uganda completely. I never connected with the UK. Never.
Before I continue, if you've done all this in 2 years, when I came to this country, I realized that so many people are telling me that anyone who makes it big in Uganda is a friend of Museveni. Don't laugh. Are you a friend of His Excellency?
If everyone who makes it here is a friend to the president, he must be having many friends. Because we have many billionaires here who are quiet. You never even get to hear of them. Come on, people are making it. And when I sold out my story, actually, the first thing I started doing is trying to change people's minds. I tried talking to them. Now, what you're hearing, that is a poor mindset. You know, in your mind, if you cannot make it, if you don't see it for yourself, you cannot see it for others. So when others make it, you're like, nah, it's impossible. It is impossibility all filled up in your mind. Come on, you must be having the same story actually as well on your side. Who's Wade? What is he trying to do? He's nothing.
Because I can't believe it. All the stories that I've done, incredible stories, but anytime I post the stories, people are like, this person is in bed with the government. And I don't see it that way because I see people who started from scratch and they've made it big in the country. why you left London in the first place?
I started, you know, when I was up there, I was a security guard. I had a lot of time to read. And I used to read a lot of inspirational stories. I saw people who came from scratch to being from rags to riches. And I thought to myself, I think I can do it. So from the word go, I was enriching my mind with good ideas. I knew it was possible, and I wasn't letting anyone tell me that it wasn't. So from the word go, all the money I had, the little I had, I was already planning it. You know, what is making people not make it in life is just living a life without a goal, life without a purpose, life without direction. From the word go, I had my direction. Actually, it doesn't matter how much money you're earning. What you need is a goal. Once you believe in your goal and you're going to go for it, no one is going to stop you. Trust me, there's nothing waiting for you apart from success. And that's what I had for 19 years. And along the way, as you try to make it, the difference between someone who's going to make it and someone who's not going to make it is consistency. And for 19 years, I was like, listen, I'm going to make it in real estate. The reason why people are failing to make it in real estate is lack of consistency, because it takes a lot of time. Someone who genuinely makes it in real estate, you have to be able to withstand 10 years of pain, of discipline. And I had to do it for 19 years. Come on, what was left apart from success? So 19 years.
19 years?
19 years. And actually, I never saw myself in the UK. I was there, but my heart was in Africa. I knew there was no way out. Come on, I read stories. The difference between us and people who fail to make it, they don't analyze, they don't understand stories. I had seen people there from university, they go, they get good jobs, they go on finance, they end up having lots of loans. Then what happens? That's their life. They are captured. They become prisoners for years. I've seen suicide stories. People are committing suicide. Why? They don't have way out. It's like working, going back home, working, going back home.
I did all the jobs. Cleaning, working in factories, all of that, I did it. But what I realized is the money is not even enough to save. It's not even enough to save for you to do something here, even if you're working double shifts, because the tax is very high and the cost of living is very high. So on average, everyone ends up borrowing money to survive or to want the nicer things.
And I said to myself, listen, actually there's one quote I read. I wasn't born to go work, pay bills, and die. I was like, listen, I think this is what I'm doing. I have to change it. It's not working, pay bills, die. Here I am in Africa. You called me last night. You said you wanted to meet me. Here I am. I'm living my life, my own terms. I can be where I want, with who I want, anytime. This is the freedom. It's until you make it, until you test that freedom. That's when you know that, listen, it was worth it. I can wake up anytime I want. That's what I want.
What did your friends tell you when you wanted to leave the UK?
I said earlier, someone who doesn't see it for themselves, they can't see it for you. And let me tell you what, the people who believe in you last will be the people who know you. Preconceived notion of someone. For you, the people who believe, who don't believe who you are, like how big you are your family? Are your friends? Why? They saw you as a little boy. They saw you begging for $1 or $2.
Exactly.
They saw you going to the well. And they're like, who's this guy? And whatever you're trying to do, they're just like, that guy, he's got too much here. Oh, who does he think he is? To them, what they believed in me or what they spoke about me, it didn't matter to me. This happens to everyone. So to them, it was theirs. And what I did, I think I heard Steve Harvey say it, the quickest way to destroy a dream is to tell a big dream to a small brain. So you are busy going around telling people, I need to do this, this and that, this and that. Come on, they don't see it. They are not seeing the larger picture. So when you force it into their brains, what's left apart from destroying it? So I was doing it, and the job I was doing wasn't one of the biggest jobs. Come on, I was a security guard.
For 19 years?
For 19 years. I never changed a job. I was doing the same job. But listen, I had laid out my plan. I knew exactly what I was making. I knew my transportation. I knew what I was paying, all my bills, and I knew my balance. So I was working on the balance. I was working on the balance, and every 4 months I had made it that I was coming back to Africa. So I was always in the know of what was happening here. That's why even when I came back, it was so easy for me to integrate.
How easy what is?
It was easy. Listen, the first thing you need to do in life is to believe in yourself. This is something you're not going to get in class. It is something your parents are not going to instill in you. It's going to be you. The day you wake up and know that life is 100% my responsibility. Life, no one, you see, there are people out there who are saying, oh, we are waiting for this government to come. Oh, I wish this government could do this and that. There was an American president during his inauguration. He said that this is not time for you to ask what the country can do for you. It's time for you to ask what you can do for the country. So it's not what others can do for you. It's you. Listen, when you go back in your bed, it's those questions. Normally, I summon myself in a meeting, personal meeting. I summon myself. Listen, Yasin, we need to sit down. And I speak to myself. What's my relationship with my future, with my money? It's me. And I go through that conversation myself, because the best conversation you can have is the conversation you have with yourself. So I make sure that I always review what I'm thinking, what I'm planning, and that is by myself. I make my decisions, I'm ready for the repercussions, and what happens in the end. Once you know what's exactly happening in your life, you see, you don't allow things to happen to you. You make things happen. That's the road I took. I sit down on a daily and I review my life, and I do it. That's why people are saying that, oh, you cannot make it. Come on, he must be connected. Listen, people tend to mix they tend to mix what they want to be with the how. That's where they fail. You must know what you are or what you want to be without mixing how. Once you know that I want to be this, I want to be known as the most famous YouTuber in Africa, you make that decision. It's done. It's done. It's done. Actually, I wrote it, put it in my email, and I had to listen to a lot of motivation. I was listening to that, just to get the courage to press send. And I remember, it's like yesterday, it was around 3 in the morning. At night, I pressed it. I gave them the date. I said I was going. And this was like 2 weeks before. When the day came, and I saw someone walking into the door to relieve me. He's a good friend of mine, Stanley Robertson. He's a Ghanaian.
Oh, wow.
Very good friend of mine. I didn't want to say anything, but I had told another friend, he was a Cameroonian, that I was going. I didn't want to tell anyone. And what? I didn't tell my wife. I didn't tell my kids. Because I was so scared. I didn't want to tell anyone who can tell me that I wasn't going to make it.
Wow.
And when I walked out of that building, took one corner, second one, I started crying.
Oh.
I started crying. I didn't know what I had done, but I was flying into something. I was scared, but at the same time, after 19 years, it was the first day I was walking home knowing that I'm not coming back to work. So I was scared, and at the same time, I could feel the freedom. I was like, all right, now, from today, I think life is going to be my responsibility. You know, when you wake up for all those years,
Yeah.
expecting a paycheck, and you are not going to get it another month, you are counting, you are seeing all those bills coming in.
Yeah.
It must be a different thing. But I went back home. I had saved some money, put it onto the account for my family to feed on, and the following day I was on the plane. I came back here. And when I came back here, I had drawn all the apartments I wanted. I had the plans and I was ready to do it. Worked 1 month, it was already going up. And we had some family wrangles. You know how Africa is like. I got arrested. I was all over the news. And that's even how I came into media. I came in for all the wrong reasons. And when they arrested me, I was in prison and I was like, all right, now I think I messed up my life. I resigned my work. I came here, I've started construction, is halfway, and here I am in prison. And I've left my family in the UK. The judge in the first place had taken me, they call it remand. They take you some time there as they are investigating. But we managed to fight it, and after a week I was out. But, you know, they were after me. Come on, I was making headlines here. I was making headlines. And people were going all over. This guy, he came from the UK, is coming to take his father's things. His father died and he's here to grab everything. Like all the stupid stories were going all about me. And I didn't know how to do it. It was false. It wasn't the right thing. And I got one person, you know, a social media person, and I said, listen, I've managed to build my apartments. This was like now after 6 months, and they are done. I want to do a story about my apartments. Show them to people. Show them that this guy was a security guard. He came in here and he has his property. He's not fighting to take what belonged to the family. He was trying to put sanity in the family. So it was like damage control program. We sat down. I told people my story, how I was in the UK. And when people saw the apartments I constructed, they're like, no, listen, this guy was a security guard. And he came up with this. But I was telling them how many years it had taken me to construct. You see, when you're telling your story and people see some genuinity in it, they can actually connect.
Exactly.
If you tell your story and it has got a background, people can buy into it.
Yeah.
They saw possibility in it because I told them I was buying this, I was selling this, I was doing this, and then I was being paid this amount of money. I didn't know how it was going to capture the people. The following day when that program was posted, forget about the damage control we were doing. And when I looked at my phone, during the interview, I had given out my phone.
Number.
Oh my God, it was bang, 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 bang.
Okay, so back to what Haji is saying, and this particular is the few people that I know, and those that actually need to see such information. So it's really cannot overstate it. And another point I wanted to make is don't go in or don't engage in unnecessary political attacks and stuff like that. If you're not going to have a career in politics and follow the avenues of what it is to be that, it's pointless just going anywhere in the continent and just spewing out and starting attacking the government or this and that, they're doing this or they're doing that. You know, just look at the whole spectrum of things and don't get caught up on what the media depicts about Africa and stuff like that. You know, well, if you look in the West, with all the veil that they seem to have, I mean, it's really dictatorship too. It might seem like it's not, but if you look closely, it is. But avoid those kind of things because people get you waste your life, you waste meaningful things that you can do because you're just doing something random that is unnecessary. And you have to bear in mind, these people are fighting too for these politicians or whatever in the government. They're also fighting for the continent. You know, they have to fight debts. They have to fight that imposed over them. They have to fight this, and and the people doing that, they're not sleep. You know, that's why I hardly touch politics because you have to, if you see the amount how some of these people, countries do, how they actually they spend sleepless night to make sure that Africa stays dumb, separated, and stuff like that. So they're using all kinds of tactics. I don't need to go into it, but you can see it. So the main thing here is don't get into things that you shouldn't, because if you're going the continent, there's a lot more to do than just keep attacking and people in authority. So when you go, that's what you have to bear in mind. You know, it's not just in Africa, over here too, in the States. you you go around talking and criticizing the politicians and this and that. Next thing you know, they say, "Oh yeah, you shot yourself on the back of your head with a suicide." It's like, so don't don't do things that really is not going to further your life, your existence, and your legacy. Don't get involved in that. Try and do something that will build for you and your family and those around you. So those are the important thing to take. And if you were a person that used to get into all that stuff, just look at somebody going back and building, like what Haji has done. Look at all the things that he's done. Look at all the things that is accomplished. That's what we all should strive to. And and if uh, and if we get a lot of people from diaspora doing what this young gentleman is doing, Africa would really be in a good position in the world. So this is to encourage all the diasporas, you know. Even when you saw from Haji's video, he talks about he even went to jail. Even, you know, people, he was making so much move that people got jealous and they thought it was this and that. But, you know, through persistence and through doing the right work and being honest and everything, you know, truth prevailed. So that is one thing that we have to take into consideration on this. Anyway, see you again on the other side. Have a good one.